Hello everyone, this is Prakash Lakshati, lecturer of physics. Now I am continuing the crash course with the topics thermodynamics and kinetic theory of gases. Let us see the first question, a thermodynamic process in which temperature of the system remains same and pressure and volume they are changing. It means the process is very simple question. We know at the constant temperature, if the pressure and volume are changing, we call it as a isothermal process. So that's why option A is correct. Next question number 2. The RMS speed, root mean square speed of a molecule of a diatomic gas is V. When the temperature is doubled, the molecule dissociates into two atoms. The new root mean square speed of the atom is. Okay, so they said initially that atom, the diatomic molecule having the RMS speed V, and we know its expression. This is 3RT divided by M. Okay, when the temperature, so T changed to 2T, 2T, then that atom, it splits into two atoms. It dissociates into two atoms. So that's why each atom should have the mass m by 2 and m by 2. Okay, so now the RMS speed of each atom, the RMS speed of each atom is, so I call this is V of atom. V of atom, RMS speed of atom is equal to root of 3 as it is, R gas constant as it is, and here the temperature is changed to 2 times that original temperature, so that is 2T. And here for each atom the mass become m by 2. This is m by 2. Okay, and here if I take this 2 to the numerator, and already 2 is there, so 2 into 2, this is 4, and the remaining terms as it is 3RT divided by m. Okay, if I take the 4 out of that square root, so it becomes 2, so 2 into 3 of RT divided by m. Okay, so 3RT divided by m is the value for the V here they have given. So I can write V of atom, RMS speed of atom is equal to 2 times that VRMS of that molecule. So that's why the option answer is 2V, and the option B is correct. Next, number 4. Unit mass of a liquid. Unit mass of a liquid with a volume V1 is completely changed into a gas of volume V2 at a constant external pressure P and temperature T. If the latent heat of vaporization for the gas for the given mass is L, then the increase in the internal energy of the system is, okay, see here, so you should focus on this thing. So initially it was liquid of volume V1, okay, and it is changed into a gas, means here there is a change of state, and see they have given it is unit mass, unit mass. So we should focus on this thing. What is this? L means latent heat. What is the latent heat? The amount of heat energy required to change the state of substance, amount of heat energy required to change the unit mass of substance, change the state of unit mass of substance. Okay, so the amount of heat energy this much. Okay, what to calculate here? You have to calculate the internal energy of the system, internal energy of the system. We know the first law of thermodynamics, delta Q is equal to delta U plus work done, or you can write the work done as P into dW. Delta Q is equal to delta U plus P into change in the volume. And here was the amount of heat energy supplied. I call this is L. So I have to take as a L, because L means the amount of heat energy required to change the unit mass of substance from one state to another state. Here the liquid is changing into gas, and the quantity is unit mass. So that's why to do this, the required energy is nothing but the latent heat. So that L is equal to, and delta U as it is P into, and the change in volume. So you can write its value. So that is final volume minus initial volume. Okay, I want the delta U. So delta U as it is, and take this term to the left hand side. So this become L minus P into V2 minus V1. Okay, so the change in internal energy, and see the options which one is correct. Okay, so option D is the correct answer. Okay, next one. Question number 5. At a given temperature, if Vrms is the root mean square velocity of a molecule of a gas and Vs the velocity of sound in it, then these are related as. So we should establish the relation between Vrms of a gas. We should establish the relation between Vrms of a gas and V of sound. V means velocity of sound in that air medium or in that gaseous system. Okay, so what's the expression for Vrms? Was expression for Vrms? So we can write this as Vrms is equal to 3 RT divided by M. Is it right? Okay, or we can write 3 into and see here. So we know the ideal gas equation PV is equal to nRT. PV is equal to nRT. For 1 mole I can write PV is equal to RT. So instead of this RT I can write the PV. So 3 as it is. So instead of RT I will write P into V divided by the mass as it is. Okay, then see what I can write here, P divided by mass as it is, and I write this V here. Anything wrong? No. So denominator of the denominator will be the numerator. And what you call for the M by V? So we call it as the density. We call it as density and the symbol is rho. Okay, so this is rho, right? And next we know the expression for velocity of sound in a medium. So that is V is equal to gamma into P pressure divided by rho is the density. Okay, and this is the pressure, this is density. Okay, so now V of Vrms divided by V of sound is equal to, take the ratio, so substitute the value of Vrms, this is 3 into pressure divided by density, whole divided by under root gamma, so which is the ratio of Cp by Cv, Cp to the Cv, gamma into pressure divided by density. Okay, so this is nothing but a Laplace correction of a Laplace correction for the velocity of sound in air medium. Okay, and here this P by rho and this P by rho cancel, and the remaining term is 3 divided by gamma. Okay, then I can write Vrms is equal to 3 divided by gamma into V of sound. Is it? So this is a relation between velocity of RMS speed of the gas and the speed of sound in that gas. So the option is option number C. Next, question number 6. Absolute zero is the temperature that corresponds to zero energy. See, absolute zero means the temperature is zero. Okay, and the kinetic energy will be least value, it is very less. And see, for a molecule it not only having the kinetic energy, it may also have the molecular energy, it may also have the potential energy due to the orientation of the atoms in that molecule. So that's why we can't say at absolute zero it is having the zero energy, it is having some amount of energy even though the temperature is zero. So the statement which they have given, this is wrong, the first statement is wrong. Go to the second one. The temperature at which no molecular motion ceases is called absolute temperature. Absolutely, it is correct, because even though it is at zero temperature, absolute zero, that means 0 Kelvin, there are also some movements in that molecules. So that's why the option, which option may write here, the first statement one is false, second one is true. So that's why option D is the correct answer. Next, question number 7. A given mass of a gas is allowed to expand freely until its volume become double. Okay, if Cb and Ca are the velocity of sound in the gas before and after the expansions respectively, then Ca is equal to, see here, this is the velocity of the gas before the expansion, this is the velocity of gas after the expansion. And see, the important word is this one, the gas expand freely, so it's a very important one. So whenever there is a free expansion, there is no change in the temperature, there is no change in the temperature. If there is no change in the temperature, means its speed doesn't change. The speed of gas which is undergoing the expansion, it doesn't change. So uh, before the expansion and after the expansion, so it will be same. So Ca is equal to, we should write Cb. So option B is correct, right? And next one, question number 8. The amount of work done in an adiabatic expansion from the temperature T to T1. So it's very simple. So it's a direct expression. See here, this is the answer. So W is equal to, we know W is equal to work done is equal to R divided by gamma minus 1 T minus T1. Okay, initial temperature minus final temperature. This is gas constant and this is the ratio of specific heat capacities. Right? Then question number 10. If 150 of heat is added to a system and the work done by the system is 110 joule, then change in internal energy will be, okay, see the given terms what they say. So this amount of heat is added, I call this is delta Q, and the amount of work done, this is W, okay, 110. So the change in internal energy, how to solve this one? By using the first law of thermodynamics, delta Q is equal to delta U plus W, as very simple one. So now I want the internal energy, this is a change in internal energy. So delta U is equal to delta Q minus W. I took this W left hand side. So what's the delta Q? This is 150. And what's the W? This is 110. So answer is 40 joule. So which option is correct? Option D is the right answer. Okay. And question number 13. The work done per mole, the work done per mole in an isothermal change is, and see the option, it is a direct expression. So work done in case of isothermal process, so that is RT log RT into log of final volume divided by initial volume, that is V2 by V1. The option is B, right? Next question number 14. Dash is not thermodynamic coordinate. So which of the following is not a thermodynamic coordinate? Pressure, we know pressure is a thermodynamic variable, temperature and volume. We say PVT are the thermodynamic variables. Gas constant is not a thermodynamic variable, it is a constant. So that's why it is not a thermodynamic coordinate. Option A. Next, question number 16. Question number 16. The PV diagram of 2 gram of helium gas for a certain process is A to B as shown in the figure. What is the heat given to the gas during the process A to B? We know the expression, we know the equation. So that is the amount of heat energy given, that is delta Q is equal to delta U plus W, that is work done. Okay, and here we don't know amount of heat energy, sorry, the change in internal energy, and also we don't know the amount of work done. If you get these two separately, we can add and we will get the delta Q. Okay, then how to get the delta U first? Was the delta U? This is the change in internal energy, and we know the equation for this, that is F by 2 nRT. Okay, so what's the F? And here they said 2 gram of helium gas. So they purposely mentioned this 2 gram because they are saying 2 gram means 1 mole of helium. 1 mole of helium. So the N value becomes 1. And F is a degree of freedom, and helium is, we know helium is a monoatomic gas. It is a monoatomic gas. For this one, the degree of freedom is 3, right? And R is gas constant. And do you know the temperature, change in temperature? Sorry, I had to write it as delta T. Okay, so delta T. Can you write do you know the value of delta T? No. So we should change this equation. F by 2 N as it is. Instead of R into delta T, I'll write the change in pressure and volume. I'll write the change in pressure and volume. So the next step. So F by 2 and N as it is, we will write so final volume minus final volume and pressure minus initial volume and pressure. Okay, and substitute the values. F equal to, this is 3 for monoatomic gas molecule. Okay, next N is equal to number of moles. Here they are given it is 1 mole. And change in pressure. So in a final value is 2 P naught. Initial value is P naught. And final one, this is 2 V naught and V naught. Okay, so here I'll write 2 P naught V naught, 2 P naught and 2 V naught minus P naught into V naught. Okay, the next step is 3 by 2 as it is, and here 2 into 2 is 4 P naught V naught minus P naught and V naught. So here this is 3 by 2, and in bracket this is 3 P naught V naught, and 3 into 3 this is 9. So answer is 9 by 2 P naught V naught. So what is this? This is the change in internal energy. Okay, so and next, so what is the value of W? What's the value of W? We know W, work done, is equal to work done. We can get the work done by the PV diagram. So that is area under PV curve. Area under PV curve. What's the PV? It is pressure and volume graph. So W is equal to, and see here, so we should get the area between these points. Okay, so from here to here. Okay, then I take a line here, I take a line, so then it becomes a triangle first and a rectangle. Okay, and see here, for the triangle we have the equation 1 by 2 base into height, right? Next, plus, so there's one more one rectangle, that is length into breadth, right? So 1 by 2 as it is was a breadth, so sorry, base. So from here to here, this is 2 V naught minus V naught. I'll write this as the V naught into height from here to here, here to here. This is the height of triangle, 2 V naught minus V naught. 2 P naught, sorry, 2 P naught minus P naught. This will be P naught. Okay, plus sign. Length of this one, so length is from here to here. For the rectangle, the length is here, so this is P naught. From base to here, this is P naught into breadth from here to here, so here to here, this is 2 V naught minus V naught. Again this is V naught. Okay, and here 1 by 2 P naught V naught plus P naught V naught, so this is 3 by 2 P naught V naught. Okay, and finally apply this equation here. So this one I can use. Okay, delta Q is equal to delta U. Was a delta U? Here it is 9 by 2 P naught V naught, 9 by 2 P naught V naught plus work done. This is 3 by 2 P naught V naught, 3 by 2 P naught V naught. Okay, 3 by 2 P naught V naught. So finally delta Q is equal to P naught V naught is constant, is a common in both the case. This is 9 by 2 plus 3 by 2. Okay, 9 by 2 plus 3 by 2, and delta Q is equal to 9 by 2 plus this one. So numerator is 2 and this is 12 P naught V naught. 12 by 2, this is equal to 6 P naught V naught. This is our answer, and which is correct? Option C is the correct answer. Okay, question number 17. A perfect gas at 27 degrees Celsius is heated at a constant pressure so as to double its volume. Estimate the increase in temperature. Okay, so this word is very important here. Increase in the temperature, not the final temperature. Okay, so they are given the initial temperature 27 degrees Celsius. So I can write T1 is equal to 27 degrees Celsius. So that will be 27 plus 273 Kelvin. So I have converted it into Kelvin. This will be 300 Kelvin. And V1 initial volume was V, and the V2 value, it will be double as per this question. So this is 2V. And what about the T2? So we don't know. So actually what you have to find here, we have to find the delta T, not the T2. So we have to find the delta T. Okay, so we know V1 by V2. V1 by V2 is equal to T1 by T2. So this is V is proportional to T when the pressure is constant. So that's why V by T is always constant. So I'll write V1 by T1 is equal to V2 divided by T2. Okay, then V1 by V2, V1 divided by V2 is equal to T1 divided by T2. What do you want to get here? I want the value of T2. I want the value of T2. Okay, then substitute the values here. Substitute the values. So I'll write V1 value, it is V. V2 value, this is 2V. And T1 temperature, this is 300. And T2 temperature, we don't know. Okay, and we cancel here 1 by 2, take the cross multiplication. This is T2, this comes to here T2, and this 2 comes to this side. So this is 600 Kelvin. T2 is 600 Kelvin. Okay, then and see the options, they all are in degree Celsius, so convert it into Celsius. So 600 minus 273 minus 273, so this will be 327 degree Celsius, but it is not our answer. So we need the delta T, not the T2. So delta T is equal to T2 minus T1. So bahut jana in confuse agibidtira, ide option mark ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, but they are not asking the final temperature, they are asking the increase in temperature. So that's why it's equal to 327 minus 27 minus 27, okay, degree Celsius. Next is equal to 300 degree Celsius. So this is the increase in temperature. This is the increase in temperature which is indicated by delta T. So the option is D. Next, question number 18. The ratio of a specific heat of a mixture of 1 mole of helium and 1 mole of hydrogen gas will be. Okay, so we should know the standard equation, that is the specific ratio of specific heat capacities of a mixture is equal to N1, first the number of moles of first gas and ratio of the first gas. Next, gamma 2 minus 1 plus N2 gamma 2 into gamma 1 minus 1 whole divided by N1 gamma 2 minus 1 plus N2 gamma 1 minus 1. Okay, so what's the gamma? Is the ratio of a specific heat. Okay, for first gas, first gas is helium, this is first gas, and the second one is hydrogen. And first gas, this is monoatomic, and the second one, this is diatomic. For monoatomic, gamma is equal to 5 by 3. Okay, and for diatomic, gamma is equal to 7 divided by 5. Then substitute these values here, and N1 and N2 both are 1 mole. So N1 equal to 1, N2 equal to 1. So here this is 5 by 3 into bracket 7 by 5 minus 1 plus N2 is 1, gamma 2 is 7 by 3, and gamma 1 is 7 divided by 5, it is 5 by 3. Okay, so this is 5 by 3 minus 1, this is 7 by 5. Okay, minus 1 whole divided by, so N1 is 1, and here it is 7 by 5 minus 1 plus N2 is 1, gamma 1 is 5 by 3 minus 1. If you simplify this one, so you will get an answer 1.5. You try the mathematical stuff and you will get answer B. Next, question number 21. The temperature of reservoir of Carnot engine operating with an efficiency of 70% is 1000 Kelvin. The temperature of its sink is. Okay, so what they are given? They are given the temperature of the reservoir, means source temperature, we indicate by T1. And what they are asking? They are asking the temperature of sink, we call it is T2. And what they are given? They are given the efficiency in percentage wise. Okay, so we need to calculate the T2, and we know the formula, neta is equal to 1 minus T2 divided by T1. Okay, so what's the neta? It is 70%. I can write it as 70 divided by 100, 70 by 100, or it is 0.7 is equal to 1 minus T2. T2 we don't know, we have to calculate here, and T1 is 1000. And take this negative sign left hand side and 0.7 to the right hand side. So now this become T2 divided by 1000 is equal to 1 minus 0.7. Okay, and the next step, T2 divided by 1000 is equal to 0.3. Then T2 is equal to 0.3 into 1000, and the answer is 300 Kelvin. So this is the temperature of a sink. So which option is correct? Option D is the right answer. And go to question number 23. Statement 1. In isothermal process, whole of the heat energy supplied to the body is converted into internal energy. Is it right? And we know and see second statement, by the first law of thermodynamics, delta Q is equal to delta U plus P into delta V. So this is the correct statement of mathematical statement of first law of thermodynamics. Okay, and this is correct statement. And see the first one, in an isothermal process they are saying the entire energy is converting into internal energy. Is it true? No. In the isothermal process, which is constant, T is constant. If T is constant, whatever the internal energy is also constant, because internal energy is completely depending on the temperature. If U is constant, whatever the delta U, it is 0. Change in internal energy is 0 because U is constant. But they are saying the supplied energy is converting into the internal energy. So this is the wrong statement. Okay, then which option is correct? Option D, where the statement 1 is false, but statement 2 is true. Next, question number 24. If the energy input to a Carnot engine is thrice the work done, thrice the work it performs, then estimate the fraction of energy rejected to the sink. Okay, so what I have given? They have given the supplied energy, the input energy is 3 times the work done. Okay, and we know the formula, work is equal to the supplied energy or energy from the sink to the energy from the source and energy rejected to the sink. Okay, then divided by Q1 on both side, Q1 on both side. Okay, so now the equation is W by Q1 is equal to Q1 minus Q2 divided by Q1. You may ask why I have to divide the term by Q1, because they are asking the fraction of energy rejected, means we should say how much energy is rejected with respect to the supplied energy. Okay, so W by Q1, they said Q1 is equal to 3 times V. So I'll write work done as it is, and the value of Q1, this is amount of heat energy supplied. So this is 3 times the work done. They have given it, I have written this here. Okay, so next one is equal to Q1 by Q1, this is 1 minus Q2 divided by Q1. Okay, so this is Q1, right? So now the W cancel. This is 1 by 3 is equal to 1 minus Q2 divided by Q1. Take this ratio left hand side and 1 by 3 to the right hand side. So now the equation is Q2 divided by Q1 is equal to 1 minus 1 by 3. Next, Q2 divided by Q1 is equal to 2 by 3. What's the Q2 by Q1? It is the fraction of heat rejected. It is a fraction of this is the fraction of heat rejected, and its value is 2 by 3. Out of 3, 2 part of energy is rejected. So the option B is question number 27. The average translational energy and the RMS speed of molecule in a sample of oxygen gas at 300 Kelvin are 6 into 10 to the power 21 minus 21 joule and 484 meter per second respectively. The corresponding values at 600 Kelvin are nearly. Okay, so here at temperature T1, at temperature T1, so at a temperature T1, what was the first temperature? They said it is 300 Kelvin. Okay, at 300 Kelvin its kinetic energy was 6 into 10 to the power minus 21 joule. Okay, and its RMS speed, I call this is V1, so it was 484 meter per second. Okay, if now the temperature is changed to T2, its value is 600 Kelvin, or I can say so T2 is the 2 times as that of the initial temperature T, or initial temperature T1. Is it? Okay, how the RMS speed is related to the temperature? We know Vrms is equal to 3RT divided by M. Means Vrms is directly proportional to root square root of T, square root of the temperature. Is it? Okay, if T become 2T, if T become 2T, I can write, so V2 value is directly proportional to, so this is 2 times of T. Or you can write V2 is equal to root 2 times the V. Was a V here, RMS speed in the second time is equal to RMS speed in the first time. Okay, it means at the temperature T1, at a temperature T2, this is temperature T2. Okay, so you can write, so final RMS speed is root 2 times the initial RMS speed. So root 2 means 1.414, and the initial RMS speed, it is 6 point, it's 484. Okay, and you can simplify this one, 484, and it is around 1.5, so it is 400, it's 1.5 means around 600. So here the terms, this is 684 and 684, so the answer will be 684 meter per second. Okay, no need to get the exact answer here, no need to get the exact answer here, so you can simplify. Right. Okay, 684, this is the second RMS speed. And what about the kinetic energy? And how the kinetic energy is related to the temperature? Kinetic energy is equal to 1 by 2 m Vrms square. Okay. And for Vrms, it is directly related to the root T. So that's why kinetic energy is directly related to like this. So if I write 2 root 2 root of 2t whole square. Okay, so here this will be 1 by 2 m v square as it is, and root to 2, so sorry, instead of v square I'll write this one. Okay, or we can write, now we can write like a, this kinetic energy is changed, or we can write k2 is equal to, k2 is equal to 2 times of the k1. Okay, if the temperature doubled, and it doubles, if the temperature triples, it triples, because the kinetic energy is directly related to the temperature, but the RMS speed is directly related to square root of temperature. So this is the important point here. Okay, 2 times the k, so initially it is 6 into 10 to the power 21, now I'll write 12 into 10 to the power minus 21. Okay, so which answer is correct? So we have to go through this one. Option A is correct. And see here in the question it is 10 to the power minus 21, but in the answers it is plus term. So I have to make it minus 10 to the power minus 21. So the option A is correct. Question number 32. The volume of an ideal gas is 1 liter and its pressure is equal to 72 centimeter of mercury column. The volume of gas is made 900 centimeter cube by compressing it isothermally. The stress of gas will be. Okay, here I have to calculate the stress. Okay, what is the stress first? So we know stress is equal to the tangential force divided by surface area. Tangential force divided by surface area. Okay, so here the volume, initially its volume was 1 liter. I call this is V1. Okay, and V2, so when you apply the extra pressure, its volume decreases to 900, so it is centimeter cube and this is liter, so here I have to convert it into a centimeter cube. So 1 liter is equal to 1000 centimeter cube. Okay, so then was a V2 is 900 centimeter cube. So was the initial pressure, this is P1. Okay, was a P2, so we don't know, so here first we have to get the value of P2, so which is the final pressure, and you should get the difference between the final pressure and initial pressure, so that will be the extra pressure exerting on that liquid to compress it. Okay, that extra pressure we may consider it as the stress, so which is also having the same formula, force by area. Okay, so first what to do, so I have to convert we have to get the value of P2 first. So we know P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So this is isothermal equation, and see, they said it is isothermally compressing. Okay, substance. Next, I want P2. So P1 into V1 divided by V2 into is equal to P2. Okay, what's the value of P1? This is 72 into V1 value. V1 value, it was 1000 divided by V2, it become 900. So this is P2. Is it clear? Okay, and here 20 cancel, 9 ones are 9 eights are. Okay, 8 into 10. So P2 is equal to 80 cm of Hg, cm of mercury. Okay, next, so I want the extra pressure, that is delta P is equal to P2 minus P1. Okay, so 80 is a second pressure and initial pressure was 72 mm of Hg. So this is 72 and the answer is 8 cm of mercury, 8 cm of mercury. So this is extra pressure exerting on that liquid to compress it. So this extra pressure is considered as the stress on that liquid. So that's why the answer is D. Next, question number 33. The work done by air when it expands from 50 liters to 150 liters at a constant pressure of 2 atmosphere is. Okay, so here what they are given, we have to calculate the work done. What's the basic formula for the work done here? So W is equal to P into, and C is the at constant pressure. Okay, P into delta V, change in volume. Okay, so what's the value of V1? What's the value of V1? So they said this is initially of 50 liter, and I can convert it into meter cube. So 50 into 10 to the power minus 3. 50 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter cube. So why the conversion factor? Why it is 10 to the power minus 3 meter cube? Because we know 1 meter cube is equal to 1 meter cube is equal to 1000 liter. 1000 liter. Now 1 liter is equal to 1 liter is equal to 1 divided by 1000 meter cube is nothing but 10 to the power minus 3 meter cube is equal to 1 liter. Okay, so 1 liter means 10 to the power minus 3. Then 50 liter means 15 to 10 to the power minus 3, and final volume V2 is 150 liter. So that's why this is 150 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter cube. Is it? Okay, then what's the pressure? So this here the pressure is in terms of atmospheric pressure, and we know the conversion factor. So that is 1 atmospheric pressure is equal to 10 to, and see the question number 30. Adiabatic modulus of elasticity of a gas is 2.1 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square. What will be its isothermal modulus of elasticity? And they have given the value of gamma. This is Cp by Cv is equal to 1.4, and we have a basic formula, that is gamma is equal to adiabatic modulus of elasticity, adiabatic modulus of elasticity divided by isothermal modulus of elasticity, isothermal modulus of elasticity. So this is our formula. Now they have given the value of adiabatic modulus of elasticity. So this is 2.1 into 10 to the power 5, and they have given the value of gamma. So this is 1.4. Substitute these values, and we have to calculate isothermal modulus of elasticity. So that's why isothermal modulus of elasticity, is equal to adiabatic value 2.1 into 10 to the power 5 divided by 1.4, and we can simplify this one. 2.1 divided by 1.4, this will be 1.5, and the multiply 10 to the power 5 as it is with the same unit, Newton meter square. So the answer is C. Next, question number 34. If the volume of gas containing n number of molecules is V, then the pressure will decrease because of the force of intermolecular attraction in the proportion. Okay, so we're having a formula for real gas, so we have equation P is equal to nRT nRT divided by V minus n into B minus n square A divided by volume square. So this is the equation for intermolecular attraction. Okay, the pressure in terms of intermolecular attraction. Okay, right. And here n number of moles, gas constant, temperature and volume, number of moles, and B and A, these are the constants. Okay, so these are called van der Waals constants. And here as the value of this n square by v square increases, so the p decreases. Okay, so that's why p decreases with the terms n square by v square, or we can write it as n by v whole square. So the pressure decreases with n by v whole square. So this is the answer. Okay, next one. Next one. Question number 35. When a system is taken from state A to B, this is state A and this is state B. Along the path ACB as shown in figure, 60 joule of heat flows into the system and 30 joule of work is done by the system. Along the path AGB, the work done by the system is 10 joule. Estimate the heat flow in the system, into the system. Okay, see here. So this is initial position A and this is the final position B. And to reach the final position, so we may go through this path, that is ACB, I call this is first path, or I may also go through ABB path, ADB path, I call this is second path. Okay, so for the first part, for first path, so for path 1, okay, what they are given? They are given delta Q1. So how amount of heat supplied? So that's it. That is 60 joule. See here, they are given 60 joule. Okay, and they said amount of work done by the system is 30 joule. I call this is W1 is equal to 30 joule. And they have also given the amount of work done in the second path. In the second path, so that is 10 joule. Okay, and you have to calculate the amount of heat supplied to the system when it is reaching the B through the second path. This is delta Q. Okay, and say initial point and final point, they are same for both the first path and the second path. So that's why delta U is same for the both the path. It is same for both the paths. Okay, so why it has to same? Because the internal energy, it is a position depending function, not a path depending function. Okay, so that's why we can calculate the delta U by these two equations. Again, you can substitute here, so you can get the value of delta Q. Okay, so from the first one, I can calculate the delta Q1 is equal to delta U plus W1. Now I want the value of delta U. So take this W1 left hand side. So this become delta Q1 minus W1. Delta Q1 is 60. Delta W1 is 30. So the answer is 30 joule. What is this? So this is the change in internal energy, which will be same for both the things. Okay, so I can use the same thing here. Delta U is equal to 30 joule. If you know W and U, we can calculate the delta Q2. So delta Q2 is equal to delta U plus W2. Delta U is, we have simplified here, this is 30, and W2 they have given it as the 10 joule. It has the 10 joule. It is 10 joule. Okay, next delta Q2 is equal to 30 plus 10. So this is 40 joule. This is 40 joule. So the answer is D. Next, question number 36. Work done by 0.1 mole of gas at 27 degrees Celsius to double its volume at a constant pressure is. Okay, say it's very important thing here. At constant pressure, you have to calculate the amount of work done. So we know the formula. W is equal to P into delta V, pressure into change in volume. But here they have not given the value of initial volume, final volume, and the pressure. So that's why I can move for the equation. So that is PV is equal to nRT. Okay, I'll write N the constant as it is, gas constant as it is. So there will be change in the temperature, and the N value 0.1 here they have given. Okay, so the 0.1, and they are given the gas constant as the 2 calorie per mole per Celsius. So I should take it as 2, and the change in temperature. So the temperature 27 degrees Celsius in SI system, this will be 300. Okay, next I can write it as 0.1 as 1 by 10 and 2 into 300, this is 600. 600 by 10, this is 60 calorie. 60 calorie, this is our answer. So option B is correct answer. Next question number 37. If the oxygen O2 has root mean square velocity of c meter per second, then root mean square velocity of the hydrogen H2 will be. Okay, so we should have the basic idea about the RMS speed. So its equation is so root 3 under root 3 RT divided by m. It means VRMS, root mean square velocity, is inversely proportional to square of the mass of that gaseous molecule or gaseous system. Is it okay? Then here I have to calculate the RMS value for hydrogen. Okay, so this is V of H divided by V of O is equal to see V of H, so is inversely proportional to mass of hydrogen molecule, and V of O, oxygen, so it is inversely proportional to its mass. So here they are inversely related like this. Okay, and if I take mass of hydrogen as a 2 gram, mass of hydrogen molecule as a 2 gram, so mass of the oxygen, that will be 32 gram. Okay, because its molecular mass is 2, its molecular mass is okay, so this is 32. 16 into 2, there will be 2 oxygens, right? Okay, next one, substitute these values here. So I'll take a single root, then MO means 32, or I can take in general. If I take this as a 2m, if I take 2m, and this will be 32m. So each atom of hydrogen, this is m mass and this is m mass. Total hydrogen molecule has 2m mass. So similarly, oxygen should have the 16m, and another oxygen, it is also having 16m, and combine it form oxygen molecule. So that's why 32. So 32m, and this is 16. Sorry, how much? 2m. For hydrogen it is 2m. Okay, substitute the values here. MO, so oxygen mass is 32m, and the hydrogen mass is 2m. Now m cancel here, so this is 32 divided by 2, so this will be root of 16. So VH divided by V naught is equal to root of 16. So this is nothing but 4. So that's why VH is equal to 4 of VO. Was a VO. So VO is the RMS speed of oxygen, and they are given symbolically as C. So that's why RMS speed of hydrogen is 4 times of that of oxygen. So the answer is C. Next one. Two perfect gases having the masses M1 and M2 at a temperature T1 and T2 respectively are mixed without any loss of energy. If the molecular weights of a gases are M1 and M2 respectively, then estimate the final temperature of the mixture. Okay, in such a cases, so we have the temperature of the mixture. Temperature of the mixture is equal to number of moles of first gas plus its temperature N2, number of moles of second gas, its temperature, divided by N1 plus N2. N1 plus N2. This is our standard equation. And what do you mean by N? Number of moles. So that is equal to given mass divided by molecular mass. Given mass divided by molecular mass. Given mass divided by molecular mass, or you can call it as a molar mass. And for N1, I can write mass of the first divided by molar mass of first gas, and N2 mass of the sample, second sample, and molar mass of that sample M2, and substitute this value here. So T of mixture is equal to N1 means small m1 divided by capital M1, and T1 as it is, plus M2 divided by capital M2 into T2 divided by M1 by capital M1 plus M2 divided by capital M2. So this is the final answer. Okay, so as per this one, option C is the correct one. Next, question number 39. 1 mole of an ideal gas expands at a constant temperature of 300 Kelvin from initial volume 10 liters to final volume 20 liters. The work done in expanding the gas is, okay, so here the expansion is under the constant pressure. That's why this thermodynamic process is an isothermal process. And how to calculate the work done. And for isothermal process, the formula for the work done is equal to, formula for work done is equal to nRT into log of final volume minus initial volume. So this is our formula. So the substitute the values. What is the n, number of moles? And they said it is 1 mole of gas. So n equal to 1. And R value they have given 8.31. And temperature is a which is constant thing here, so it is 300. And log of v2 means 20. Okay, v1 is 10 liter. Next one, 8.3 into 3 into 10 to the power 2, 300 I will write it as 300, 3 into 10 to the power 2, and log of 20 divided by 10, this is log of 2, okay, to the base e. Next, 8.3 into 3 into 10 to the power 2 into log of 2, 0.3010. Okay, and if you simplify this thing, so you'll get an answer around 750. So it is in SI system, that is joule. So the answer is 750 joule. Okay, and you try the remaining questions. If you have any doubts or difficulties, you can contact me personally. Thank you.